Yes, folks. Oh, yes. How nice was that bit of dum-da-dum-dum? That was really good, I thought, and I hope you think so too, because that was I'm a Yes Man by the Great Emu War Casualties off their brand new EP Vanity Project, or Project. I guess you can pronounce it both ways. I won't slap you if you pronounce it the wrong way. But Vanity Project's out now, and as I said, it's the latest EP off the Great Emu War Casualties. A band with a mouthful of a name and a mouthful of a man. That probably came across. Sorry, that.
A mouthful of a man.
Yeah. I mean, in like spirit, gusto, banter, he's certainly got a mouthful to say, I'm sure, about the new EP. But yeah, it's the latest single off the new EP, which is out now. So enough of that chit chat. I've got the singer and guitarist Joe here.
Just thinking, I'm going to go back on my old MSN profile. I've finally got the perfect little subline now. Mouthful of a man. That'll do it right there.
That should be you can use that quote. You can say that in your official releases that was my review.
That's going to be the opening song on our next EP. Definitely not.
This, and then the EP title should be called "This Record Is a Mouthful," and then every single song should be about the process of putting things in your mouth. Like you're not done till you swallow,
like your foot,
Don't spit out your food.
Yeah. Are these real song titles, or is this you?
Don't play. This is just I'm riffing off the top of my head.
I like it. Yeah.
Look, song name brainstorming.
I
was just saying, song name brainstorming sessions are probably more fun than they should be.
But they're better than writing the songs. Like writing the names of songs is just more fun because when you've got the name, then you've got to write the rest. The rest is normally difficult, and you've had all the fun at that stage. You've got the name.
Oh, are you one of those people that will be thinking of song titles first, though, then the song comes into it afterwards, or is it the other way around usually?
No, it's Saskia's the one who does the song titles, so that's how we get by it. So I don't need to worry about what the thing will be called.
He's a cryptic
we normally
man.
have yeah.
Like there are some.
We've normally got an idea for something, and then we'll just give it a name halfway through writing, and then try and make it connect. And then it never works, but sometimes it does.
And did you stick the landing as far as the song titles representing the theme of the song?
I think as far as the EP title went, we got that about right. But then the song titles maybe less so.
Is that because you came up with the EP title after you'd written the EP?
You know what? Maybe it was. Go back and you're like, what's left? We got a title to EP now. Yeah.
It's just... Yeah. Well, at least you got your act together by the end of it. What do you say?
Yeah, I could go with that. Yeah.
Anyway, I want to say
that'll be the. I was going to say that'll be the quote we take for the press. At least they got their act together by the end of it.
You're like, have you been noting these down? I'm quotable. I'm so quotable. You got to put this. It's a mouthful, man.
So I've got it recording. Yeah.
You'll have to go back. I'll have to get the transcription for this episode later and send it to you.
Perfect.
I mean, I want to say congrats. I usually say this at the start. Congrats on putting out the record. How do you feel?
Yeah, feeling okay. It was a bit of a slog because we wrote it a while back and we made it a while back, and we made it sort of through 2020. So you sort of sometimes you'll write a record and go back and listen to it, and it gives you all the memories of when you wrote it and made it. But when you do it with this one, with us, you just sort of remember 2020. So it's I'm pleased with how it sounds, but it was a slog. I think it was difficult to get out because we were trapped in COVID scenarios. I think at some point Babek was in Byron Bay. We couldn't find a studio in Byron Bay, even though everybody in Byron Bay seems to have a studio. But we finally found some guy who'd let us in. And then Babek was like, "Oh, I don't have a drum kit." So that kind of scenario just happened every step of the way. Yeah, it was good.
Is there more drum kits than there are studios in Byron Bay, or does everyone pat bongos up there or something?
There's definitely more snare drums, or not enough snare drums. Sorry,
not enough.
The one we've no. See if you can see if any of your good-eared listeners can hear. The snare drum on the record is a broken snare drum. We were trying to find a kit of any kind, because we'd found we'd found the only studio we could afford, which was sort of some guy's room.
His actual bedroom. His actual bedroom.
I think he had like a garage, but like a wife that didn't want us in his garage. So it was a tenuous situation. So we just sort of went. I think we knocked on every door in Byron Bay for a snare drum by the end of it. The only one we found didn't really have many snares on it. So yeah. So it came. I think it came off all right in the end. I like how it sounds, but it was an event trying to put it together.
Jeez, I mean, at least the journey was fun.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I can go with.
Has the release been just as fun though?
It's been similar in tone. Yeah. No, it's been all right. We got a Triple J airplay, which was a nice new thing for us because I wasn't really sure what that was until people started telling me that was a nice thing to have had. So now we've got one of those profiles with a red drum on it, which is apparently cool, and I feel quite cool. A nice red drum is pretty good. It's probably better quality than the snare drum on our record. And we've managed to do a couple of little bits, and we played the EP release show in Potts Point recently, which is pretty cool. And we've got one in Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar in a little bit, which will be nice. That'll be some good fun. But it's we always do that whole thing where it's my mum loves the record, but trying to get like a couple of thousand plays on the record, that's our next task.
That's always a challenge, isn't it?
That's it, yeah.
I was going to say, how was the show in Sydney? Because I did see that you did play there it was on Friday, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was. Right.
Was it really nice?
Well, yeah, it was lovely. So Stain opened, and it was they're sort of a side project of Just a Number, who are a pretty good band. Stain were really good as well.
Just a Number,
really nice. Were really nice. Yeah,
they are too. And you know what's so awesome? Yeah, Just a Number. The guys from Just a Number are awesome, aren't they?
Yeah. I think that might have been the last time I played Last Chance. Just a Number came to Melbourne to play. So sort of we approached them seeing if they wanted to play the show with us, and they were setting up this second group, and it was like, yeah, cool, come down, it'll be drinks. But it was a weird venue because of Sydney's lockout laws, so like the venue's still sort of trialing music as well. We ended up with like a sound tech who was also the doorman, who was also the barman, who was sort of pretty good at all jobs but couldn't do them all at the same time.
Hang on, my question is, Joe, was the bar service shit?
The bar service was good.
Oh.
But like it was the door service, that because the door was really heavy, so it kept shutting, so people couldn't get into the gig, and that became a problem, you know?
Yeah, might be a little problem.
But it was in the end, everyone who got a ticket got in. It was we're problem solvers, you see. That's the one thing we can take from this EP release. Yeah. So it was really good. It was a great night. I had fun, and that's how I base all things. Nice.
At least that's the main thing. You know, door problems aside, you got to have fun.
That's it. Yeah.
I think actually our last show that I saw before lockdown occurred last year was the one with Just a Number when they played it. I think it was the show they played before the one you did with them, and it was at Whole Lotta Love. It was. Oh yeah. That was fun because we interviewed them right before then when they put out their release. So it was, it was good to catch up with them because the first proper Sydney show I played, but the first Sydney show I'd booked, I got them on as well, and they were so much fun. And just seeing them improve.
They've got so much energy. They're like, I get tired watching them perform because like I don't have that kind of stamina on a stage, but they jump and they roll and they move and they do all this stuff, and I'm like, whoa! I'm like sat down at the bar going, oh, that's good. That.
And then it was funny. I was so looking forward to it because, guys, want to come out and hang out afterwards? Head up a few Melbourne bars, show off about our nightlife. I'm like, yeah, sure, that sounds really good. And then at the end of it, they're like, we're a bit tired. Might go back to the hotel.
No.
That's like, you idiots.
Oh, they blew it. Just think of all the contacts they could have made. Yeah.
I mean, me and my friend ended up having a really good night that night, but
that's it.
But I'm not complaining, but it would have been good to have them as well. No, I'm glad the Boogie Mountain show in Sydney went well. You did mention, I'll mention it again as well, you're playing Old Bar. Is it Old Bar or is it Last Chance?
No, we've been rescheduled. Can you believe it?
I just realized I was like, wait a minute. I thought I saw Last Chance on the event.
Hang on a minute. It's technically worked out because we're really good at silver linings. It's technically worked out quite well because it's meant we've been able to put another act on the bill. So we were originally playing just us and Naysayers. And now Silk have jumped on as well because Last Chance will let us have more friends in the room. So it's going to be Silt, Naysayers, and Emus, which is going to be a really good show. Actually, aside from Emus, I'm a huge fan. I have to be a huge fan of my own group. That goes without saying.
Really?
But the other two are really good.
You reckon you've got to be absolutely in love with everything you write and record?
I think no, because I just remembered some stuff that I've recorded. Yeah.
Because if you're going to be the kind of guy that just loves everything you do, you're not critical enough.
No, that's the problem. Yeah. I look back. I listen. Well, whenever I make something, see, it's always the distance. So I love everything on this new record at the moment. Ask me again in a few months' time, and my answer might be different.
Have you actually listened to it since it's come out? Like, have you gone back and had a little, because I imagine it would have been quite a while since you signed off on it and gone, right, this is it. This is the final cut. And this would have been quite a while back. Maybe we signed off on it in December, maybe November. I didn't really listen to it. That's pretty close.
It's fairly recent for a thing. Yeah, because we don't really like to sit on things for too long because you do start doing that thing where before you've even released it, you hate it. So it's got to go out while you still think it's great. So we released a single in November, which was Flies. So I listened to that then and I was like, yeah, this is good. Because I love everything I do, obviously. And then Yes Man came out just before the EP. But when the EP came out, that's when I started listening to the record again for the first time in 3 months. So I'm keen at this stage. I think it's good. I'll get tired of it soon because I do. And we've already started because I don't know any bands that don't. We've already started writing the next one. So so we'll see when that happens. You got
to keep moving on. You got to keep looking forward.
That's it.
I was going to say to add to your moniker, I was going to say it's a mouthful of self-love. This man.
That's it. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Can't stop loving his own stuff.
Take that out of context and place it everywhere.
Oh, somebody's going to have to edit a bar talk out of context. YouTube poop video, I think, because
they'll put you on one of those lists if that starts happening.
It'll be the only way I go viral. I'm going to have to start thinking. I'm going to have to start, digging my own, moral grave, so to speak, just for the sake of views and likes and the evil god that is the media and the internet.
That's it.
I want to go back a bit on the actual recording process and how that came out. So you mentioned that it was in a bit of a sort of, DIY setup in somebody's room. But I mean, how did you find recording in that space? Was it somewhat relaxing being in that setting, or did you have the nerves on because it seemed a little bit too put together?
Yeah, no. So the drums were done in the room. So, I mean, for me, normally it's super relaxing because you're just in your own place recording whatever you would normally do. So I recorded the record's worth of vocals and sent it off to the guy who was working on it. Um, and then he was like, "Yeah, we can't use these. Like, you need to do something." Because it was just me holding a mic in the middle of a room, so like it was rubbish. You know, it was like, I ended up. So the producer guy, Alex Newport, was working from LA. So he's like then telling me how to soundproof my cupboard. And now I'm sort of in a soundproofed cupboard with headphones and an SM58 trying to sing the record of my life. All of a sudden it's become the weirdest thing that's ever happened. So it took a weird turn at that stage.
Well, I mean, how did you find the claustrophobia? Okay. How did you find the claustrophobia?
That was okay. It was the takes. Like, I just couldn't get comfortable. I don't know. Maybe it was the claustrophobia. It's like, luckily the cupboard was like full of all my things, which in hindsight I should probably have emptied. But it was very homey because it was everything I owned in a tiny little box. Yeah, it was good.
Sounds like there was plenty of space.
I've still got the setup. Like, that's how I make demos now. So it's been beneficial long term.
Well, I mean, at least you got something out of it.
Exactly.
You don't get distracted easily, do you, in there with all your stuff?
There's nothing to, it's like, well, you can try on coats and things, but like, then you hit the summer and you don't really want to be trying on coats with a closet door shut. Luckily that keeps you focused. Yeah. But when the winter comes around, I'm going to get nothing done.
Probably not.
Just be putting shoes on.
Maybe you'll sing better if you look fly. I don't know.
That is actually how that works. Yeah. I've got
It's like the fake it till you make it moniker, but just, but with fur coats.
Yeah. I should get a fur coat, shouldn't I? That's probably what I'm missing. If instead of because we got Saskia drew the EP art, which is really cool, but it should just be a picture of me in a fur coat, because then it just fly off the shelves.
Because the horse's head comes back a fair bit, though, I've noticed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Who's wearing the horse head again?
Oh, that's Saskia. She hates cameras. She finally found a way to be on them without being on them.
Has is that going to appear at the live show, or has that appeared at the live shows?
It has done, but recently it's taken a turn because Saskia has been singing more because she did some vocals on the record and she's got a good voice, so we can make her sing now. But B, the mask got moldy. Did you know masks could get moldy?
So I'm guessing she didn't wash it.
Hindsight is like, you always know what you should have done, but only after the occasion.
Well, I mean, that thing's like rubber. You can just chuck it in the washing machine. Just watching it go, watching his horse's head go round and round and round.
Just that spinning round, yeah.
That's some fucking surreal imagery.
So I think the horse, the head might be semi-retired for the moment. It'll probably go in like a Hall of Fame situation, and before you know it, there'll be a new one. There'll be something to wear. Yeah,
people will rock up to our house and go, this is my Monday horse head. It's my Tuesday one. It's like I'm trying to think, was it Wallace and Gromit or something similar, where it's like one of those cartoons where he's always wearing the same suit. It opens up the cupboard and it's just 10 pairs of the same suit. He's like,
I always
Monday, think of, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah. I always think of Dexter's Lab for that one. Because there's one where he opens the cupboard and it's just lab coats all the way down. Yeah,
that might be where it's from. I just couldn't quite pick my brain, but I know it's probably happened heaps of times. That's probably why I can't think of it.
I think it's in every show, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think I'll wear my Monday pants. They all look the same. With it though, because I want to talk a bit more about the themes and that have sort of permeated, because you did mention that, as you will all remember, that the actual title of the record has sort of reflected what you were trying to say pretty well. So what I was trying to get at was, I guess, what you were trying to say, or what you thought you ended up saying by the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, like the title sort of really ended up suiting it, I think, because I mean, it just sort of became a vanity project for us. It was like, if if it was backed by anyone with clout or cash, I think they'd have cashed out at some stage. But it just became like a matter of we're doing it for ourselves. We're going to get this done. And the tracks throughout are a couple of them are older ones which we've sort of reimagined, and then 2 or 3 are written like, and I kind of feel like you can hear that it's written in 2020. It's written during the thing everyone's going through, and it's not necessarily about it, but it's more about like the situations that people find themselves in and how you deal with that and whether you deal with it well. Because I know I didn't. So, and it's sort of from that perspective of like, you go online and everybody in the world seems to be doing just fine, and I'm like,
or so they say, or so they say, Joe.
So they say, yeah,
it's all exactly.
Front. Yeah. So a couple of them are written after like season 20 of House has finally been watched on Disney Plus, and there's just nothing left to do. And so then it's time to write an EP, I guess.
Who had the biggest ego trip? Because you talk about vanity, it's, very, very self, bit up yourself, so to say.
Yeah, it has to be me by default, because Bebek and Saskia are like so humble. But they'd probably say this. No, they wouldn't say the same thing about me. Yeah, it's definitely me.
Yeah. Was that halfway? Yeah. Was that halfway through the 4-month lockdown when you're like, well, I've watched everything on Disney Plus. I've tried every pizza there is at the McCain's aisle at Coles.
I actually did get every option in Hunky Dory.
Oh, really?
Like I got given them, the Hunky Dory in South Melbourne. They gave me a menu one day when I was walking past, and I sort of just started checking off the menu items. And like, one day you've eaten everything that Hunky Dory can sell, and you're like, there's a problem here.
Is that the first time you've ever exhausted a menu?
I think it might be. Yeah. No, like I've gotten to the end of stuff that I'd get. Like there's nothing that McDonald's is going to sell new. Like I've not had the fish one from Mackey's, but I'm not going to have the fish burger from Mackey's. No one is. But yeah. Unless you're about to tell me that the fish burger is the the secret.
There's a joke going around that, like, I think it's a video they've done, like, joking about Macca's, where they're like, oh, I ordered fillet of fish, but you gave me McChicken. Never mind, sir. Grabs the burger back off him and dips it in, and it's like a big bucket that says fish flavor. It's like, here you go. Oh. But there's a joke.
That sounds like one of them TikToks I've heard so much about.
Probably, yeah. But then we were talking about before we started the interview properly, quote unquote. We're talking about Mexican food. Mexican food is just the same meal reimagined in different ways. Like it all involves it's the same ingredients. It's essentially cooked the same way. It's just you wrap the burrito differently.
Yeah. No, you either get a burrito and they've wrapped it for you, or you get fajitas and you've got to wrap it yourself, or enchiladas and they've wrapped it, but also there's sauce.
Yes,
it's
the same meal. It's the same meal. There's one change.
Do you think that's what it's like in Mexico though, or do you think we get like a sort of fake Mexican, tourist Mexican we get here, being this must be what Mexico is like. And you get to Mexico and it's just, I don't know, what's the opposite of Mexican food? That's what they sell. Sushi. It's exclusively sushi in Mexico when you get there.
It might be. Yeah, no, I do. If you speak to any actual Mexicans, they do lament.
Yeah. I've never been, so I can't... So I'm going to start that rumor. I'm going to claim to have been to Mexico, and I'm going to say they only sell sushi, because I don't know anyone who has been to Mexico, and they can't prove me wrong.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm sure that'll last a long time on the internet without anyone proving me wrong at all.
No, it's as if anyone in Mexico can speak English. No.
No one on the internet's from Mexico. Yeah, it can't be done.
I once confused a guy that was from Mexico. I said, "Oh, you're Canadian, right?" And no, he wasn't happy that I said he was Canadian. He had a Canadian accent, so he can't blame me that much.
Well, if he's got a Canadian accent, that's his fault.
Yeah, I know. Should have been a little bit more stereotypical in the way you speak.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, it was on him. Yeah, he didn't show up with sangria and one of those. I can't even remember the name of the hat. Sombrero. There you go. So it's on him. Yeah.
I forgot what they were called as well.
There was when we did the EP launch last Friday.
Yes, bring us back to the actual topic of conversation. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm only going via the EP launch to talk more about sombreros, because out the side of the window from the stage there was like this public toilet area with just like 5 sombreros on top, and like, you know, when you're doing something, I'm playing a show, so I'm focused, and then 5 sombreros on top of a public toilet sort of catches your eye, and it sort of takes you right out of the moment. So yeah. So that was a flubbed chord right there.
Did you? I was going to say you fuck up the guitar solo in that song.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it was. As I always say, if you fuck up the guitar solo, you just say you were trying to imitate Johnny Greenwood.
Yeah,
that seems to get away with. You seem to get away with it. Just have a reverb, just in case you fuck it up. Just have a reverb pedal nearby. You'll be fine.
So, someone told me recently, if you make a mistake, just repeat it twice, and people will think it's intentional. So I've taken to that. But like, some of the mistakes I make are too obvious to repeat. You make one so bad that the crowd goes, "Ooh," you know. It's like, oh yeah, I'll move on.
Or you go to a friend's show, and I've had this happen a couple of times, and they're significantly drunker than they usually are and making a fool of themselves, and you are pissing yourselves in the front row, just loving it for all the wrong reasons. Yeah. And people around you going, "Oh, this is really cool," because it's the first time they've seen them live, and go, yeah, it is, really is.
And you know what it's supposed to do.
It's like a whole new layer of entertainment going on.
Yeah, that's good.
I was going to say, with all the, you know, the stuff that was going on and that, how did you manage to find keeping up, being productive with the other band members while we were in stage 4 lockdown? Was it hard, or did you find that collaborating over the internet was relatively easy?
Like, the collaboration was easy. Like, we've got we don't have trendy new social media, so we have Facebook, because I don't know, that one sounds like the old one now, but we've got a group chat on there that we keep up with, and it's like it's really easy to send things across to each other and jam over it and make things better. But the hardest thing to do in stage 4 was to want to do any of it at all, because everything was so flat. So that really was the difficulty, just trying to stay motivated, or I don't know, inspired. That's a bit cliche, but like actually finding a reason to do it and a reason for it and what it's about. That was the struggle. Actually putting the music down, that was pretty good, because when you sort of collaborate with, like, Saskia and Vivek are incredible musicians, and so when you're just throwing ideas at them and then it comes back later in the afternoon, it's like, it's very new and it's much better. And so that all works really well. But trying to tie it together and trying to keep going after you've got a sort of backlog of 10 demos. And it's like, should we make demo 11? It's like, I don't know. Do you think we'll ever play a gig again? So there was a lot of that, you know.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
No, at least you got through it. That's the thing.
Yeah, we made it. We made it to the... it didn't seem like we were going to get there, but we got there.
But how did it feel then coming back out? And then, you know, I don't know, was the show last Friday the first show you've done since lockdown?
Yeah, we did. We were lucky, and we didn't realize that we were lucky at the time. Sort of midway through the lockdown in Melbourne, maybe it was just at the bit where stage 4 went away in error and came back with a vengeance. But we managed to get out to Heidelberg and do like this weird live stream performance. So we did that. That was sort of maybe in June or July. And the thing we'd done before that was March. So then it was like March to July. And then things started opening up again. But we had that thing where we kept being in different places. So when we were trapped in Melbourne and Quebec was free in Byron Bay, and then we sort of moved away. I moved into Sydney for a bit for work, and then Quebec came back into Fitzroy. And so we could never be in the same city or anything. We kept screwing it up. So the one that we just did on Friday is the first one we've done for quite a while. And then the next one is going to be that last chance. And then after that, we're sort of hoping the floodgates will open up. But you never know, because it was only last week that we had another 5 days of it. So,
I know.
You can't keeping our fingers crossed. And,
you just can't plan it, can you?
No, the venues really need not to discredit ourselves, but the venues really need sellout acts, to make the nights worthwhile. And we're always a bit of a gamble, to be fair. We can get a few people through the door, but it's not like if you're, and that's the situation we sort of ended up with and decided we'll move Old Bar to Last Chance because it's a little bit of a smaller capacity room, and that'll give a band who can pull 100 by themselves with no problem. They can have that platform to do that because everyone's kind of got to do that pull together at the moment thing. But we'll see how it goes.
I think old Last Chance was like one of the first bars to be open all night since lockdown. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the first place I went to. We were out for like the first or second time after lockdown, and the other bars were going home at like 11, or it was like 1 p.m. when this place is closing. I was like, I want to have another beer. I'll go to Last Chance.
Yeah, they don't want you going anywhere. Yeah.
It really is the last chance. No, it is.
Yeah.
It is really such a good venue and a great supporter of the Melbourne music scene and the touring music scene as well. So, I mean, if you're around, get down to the show. It's on April 15, Thursday. Nice. Got a nice Thursday show. So,
that sounds about right. Yeah.
He's not just looking at the event now, is he?
No, I've got it in my phone calendar and everything.
Oh, you're organised.
Yeah, I'm on this.
I mean, it's going to be awesome. So get down if you can. Should be fun times. Supported by Silt and the Naysayers. Make sure you go and give the album a cheeky listen when you get, the record a cheeky listen when you get the chance too, and tell them your worst review at the show.
Definitely do that in person at the show. Yeah,
in person. Yeah. It's always harder and more genuine to give out, a bad review in person.
Negative feedback. Yeah, you got to lock eyes with us while we're on stage.
The death stare, just while you're casually sipping your beer.
Yeah, single, not no clap at the end of a song, but single clap at the end of a song.
At the end and just.
Yeah, we are aware that you've finished. We are listening.
We don't approve, but we're listening.
Yeah, here's the single clap. Yeah.
Better be thankful we paid to get in. Now, it's 7:30 p.m. doors, so make sure you get down. Is it a free entry or is there actually a ticket price? I can't actually see.
Oh, I was just going to ask you, what does it say on the event?
It doesn't say.
I bet you can definitely get in the door for free because it splits into two halves, doesn't it? So just come down for a drink, have a listen through that bar bit, and if you like what you hear, then go into the band room. If it costs some money, pay. Who knows?
Just come inside.
I think it'd probably be $7 or something. It'll be one of those.
Something like that, yeah. No, it should be fun. Definitely check it out if you're in town, folks, that night. We're going to play, actually. We're going to end on one of the non-single tracks off the EP. Sad Seaweed, people. This is like the middle easy point song, you could almost say, for the EP.
Yeah.
What I liked about it, though, and this is why I picked it, was it had a lot of self-referential, woe to me, I'm a songwriter sort of references, which always cracks me up because it's the equivalent of breaking the fourth wall as far as songwriting is concerned, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's written very sort of self-pitying. And then I've sort of, because that was one that I wrote a little while ago, and I'm able to take a step back and pretend that I sort of wrote it intentionally self-pitying, whereas like at the time it was so sincere. It was like, this is how I really feel. So it's like it's a woe is me is a good way of putting it. It's a little bit of a feeling sorry for yourself, but not really having anything to feel sorry for yourself about, you know.
I was going to say, so it was one of those ones where you sort of looked back, took a step back and go, God, I was an idiot.
I do that every week.
You have to rip out the mirror so you don't feel so depressed every morning.
That's it, yeah. There's one in the apartment building I'm living. There's a mirror in the lift. I just can't get away from it every day. Got to stare at myself.
Is it one of those ones where they just buff the shit out of it so it's like you can see every single... Everything's so clear.
I had no idea how much I've aged in like through COVID, and then I got in the lift one day and I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, well, I mean, thanks so much for coming on. I was about to call you Tom. I don't know why.
My brother's called Tom, so he'll appreciate that.
Oh, I'm sure he will, yeah. He never gets any attention in these interviews, does he?
No, exactly.
He'll have to start his own band.
I'm trying to be the golden child. I'm just going to cut him out.
Oh, yeah.
All I need is worldwide success. Yeah.
This is the one that everyone talks about. And you're like, oh, yes, I'm I'm Joe's brother. He's the successful one. Yeah.
Yeah. The problem is he's got a house because he became a welder. Like he's a welding guy who welds, you know, with like muscles in his hands. And I just look at spreadsheets and stuff and try and make songs. So he's kind of got me beat. It's not a great place to be.
There's a certain duality there that's kind of poetic. Maybe not from your perspective, but you know, from an outsider's perspective, definitely.
From my perspective, next week, once I've learned from this, it'll be very poetic. Yeah.
Joe, thanks for coming in, mate. It's been an absolute fun time. We are going to finish on the song, so why don't you be a good chum and tell us who you are and what we're about to listen to.
Sure. I'm Joe Jackson, and I'm from the Great Emu War Casualties. And this is about to be Sad Seaweed People.
Nice, folks. See you later.
Goodbye.
There's nothing to it. There's nothing to it. So I pull the car out and I cut my hair. I play the radio on my resist steel. And there's nothing to it. And there's nothing to it. So I pull the car around. I cut my hair.
AustralianMusiciansRadio.com